Ada orang marah. Dia cakap auditorium
nak senyum.
Nak senyum.
Okey, foto.
Betul juga.
Tapi kita pada atas
Okay, I think we can start.
Wait. Not clear yet.
Photographer.
Foto. Okay, connected. Thank you, connected.
Okay?
Okay.
Alright, Assalamualaikum. My name is Jahabuddin Muhammad Yunus, Deputy President 2.
Sejahtera, ketika ini saya berada di Akademi Badminton Malaysia untuk satu sidang media yang akan diadakan sebentar saja lagi membabitkan isu perseorangan lelaki utama negara iaitu Lizija yang telah menyerahkan surat perletakan jawatannya kepada BAM pada 11 Januari lalu. Dan hari ini adalah hari yang dinanti-nantikan oleh semua peminat badminton tanah air dan juga Lizija sendiri untuk mengetahui lebih lanjut apa keputusan BM dan merungkai segala persoalan ni yang tertanya-tanya sebelum ini. Jadi kita dengarkan sidang media daripada kedua-dua timbalan Presiden BM iaitu Datuk Subramaniam dan Datuk Seri Jahabudin serta Setiausaha Agung BM sendiri, Datuk Kenigo.
Okay. Alright. Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon. My name is Jahabudin Muhammad Yunus, Deputy President 2 and Chairman of Legal Advisory Committee. On my right is Datuk Borak-Maniam, Deputy President 1 and Chairman of the Disciplinary Committee. On my left, Datuk Terkini, Secretary General of BAM. I think by now all of you would have already read from the media that the badminton players Lee Zijia and Goh Jinwei have withdrawn from the National Training Centre BAM. The BAM Council had a special meeting recently on Monday, 17 January 2022, to deliberate on this matter of Lee and Goh's matter and to formulate our responses to the same. We are mandated by the BAM Council to make this press conference. Now let me start with Lee Zijia. Now before I proceed, I must caution myself that there could be legal issues that may arise subsequent to this. Therefore, I have to be careful with how I word myself as well. Now, as far as Lee Zijia is concerned, we received the resignation letter from Lee Zijia on 11 January 2022. Since his resignation letter, many concerted efforts were made by us through several informal discussions with Lee Zijia to reconsider his decision. However, was not successful. Lee Zijia stood by his decision and he gave the following reasons. Firstly, he said that he cannot stand the pressure of being in the national squad. And secondly, he said that the lifestyle in the Academy Badminton Malaysia is a regimented lifestyle and he found it very difficult. Now, during one of the discussions with the committee, Zijia submitted fresh terms to continue his career with BAM. Following a thorough deliberation, BAM reached the decision to reject those terms. Now, what are those terms that he wanted? Firstly, he wanted to have his own team of coaches and support service. Secondly, to plan his own tournaments. And thirdly, to have his own sponsors. Now, obviously, we found that these requirements are impossible to be fulfilled and unrealistic. In recognition of his talents, however, and also the fact that Lee Zijia has been nurtured by BAM for the past 11 years, since he was 13 years old. And BAM still offered him several lucrative, substantial incentives that include monetary benefits. However, Lee Zijia has already made up his mind and he did not want to reconsider his decision. Now, we're also mindful of the fact that Lee Zijia, being a national player who has recently won the All England Championship, it is quite difficult, very disappointing for BAM to lose him. However, since he already made up his mind, we have to respond to it. And I'm sure you're all aware that the position of any player of BAM is this. All of these players with BAM are contracted with BAM. And the reason why they are contracted with BAM is because there are various implications behind it. To train and nurture these players, we require funds. And these funds comes from grants and a lot from sponsors. Now, the world over, it is no contract, no sponsors will come because they want to be assured that whoever the players that are nurtured will remain with the sports body, will remain the association and grow. So with that in mind, and also as per the terms of his contract, after much difficult deliberation, BAM had to reach a decision to not register Lee Zijia for any international tournaments for a period of 2 years, effective from 18 January 2022. Wow, talking through the mask is very difficult. Okay, now let's go to Goh Jinwei. With regards to Goh Jinwei, with regards to Goh Jinwei, it's a little bit dramatic. Now, if you remember, those who've been following the sports scene, you remember that Goh Jinwei earlier, she had intended to resign based on health reasons. And she expressed the same thing to BAM. And BAM spoke with her at great length and persuaded her to reconsider her position, and we even offered her various medical assistance if she required, and so on. However, on September 3rd, Jinwei told us that she wanted to quit the sports altogether and said that her health does not permit. So she submitted her resignation letter on September 11. On December 23rd, Jinwei and Penang BA Honorary Secretary Leong Kin Weng met BM Secretary General Terkini to discuss the possibility of returning to BM as her health was improving. And this fact, BM took it with great interest. So Terkini informed her of BM's decision to assist her as she was talented. And again, the issue of BM having nurtured her from the age of 14. So the meeting was positive, and Jinwei said that she was seriously considering rejoining the national team, but to only play the mixed doubles due to a health condition. Unfortunately, however, she was indecisive, and to our surprise, on 2nd January this year, she announced through a YouTube channel that she wanted to play independently. And therefore, we take the position that Goh Jinwei also does not want to be part of the National Training Center in BAM, and we reached a decision not to register her for any international tournaments for a period of 2 years, effective 31st October 2022. So the summary of it all, 2021 in the past. So the summary of it all is this. The summary is that both of these players, they have major difficulty in deciding what to do, but if they had already decided to leave the association, despite them having spoken to them, raised various issues, including counter-offers, including also the fact that this is national service, and if we don't leave, we can't do anything about it. Nevertheless, BAM, being an institution, has its own process. Now, if you recall, there was a previous player also, To Iwei, remember, yeah? She also wanted to leave BAM, and she was also not allowed to play for 2 years, no registration for 2 years. But she returned, and she came back, and BAM embraced with open arms. So it is yet to be seen whether or not Goh Jinwei and also Lee Zijia will be inspired, motivated, moved to come back to the fold of BAM to play under our auspices. And then we will cross the bridge when we come to it. Okay, that's as far as our statement is concerned. If you have any questions, clarifications rather, please state your name and which media you represent.
So,
Yes, Jaga.
clarify, you mentioned not to register for the 2 years from 18 January to what does that mean?
Okay. Right. Now what that means is, all players, yeah, Jaga, all players are contracted, and in their contract we have clause 7. Clause 7 of the contract allows BAM to mete out several punitive measures in the event they want to leave the National Training Center. Now, one thing was I must clarify is this. There's all reporting that Zijia resigned, Jinwei resigned. There's no such thing as resignation in the scheme of things. In the scheme of BAM, we have a national training center. When you say national training center, you're talking about a lot of investments, you're talking about sports science, you're talking about physiotherapy, you're talking about the entire ecosystem. You're talking about BAM being a center where we pluck out young people, put them in this ecosystem, and the only choice that you have is to withdraw. You can withdraw from the national training system, you can. That is provided for under the contract. But if you do so, there are various punitive measures, among which is not to register for the next 2 years. Jaga, does that answer your question? Yeah, that's what it means.
So they cannot play anymore.
They are not registered. Right? If they are playing in tournaments that requires the registration of BAM as a governing body in Malaysia, then we say that since you're not interested to begin with, we are not registering you. Any other clarifications? Yes.
Fabian.
Yes, Fabian. Fabian, right?
Fabian.
Huh? Fabian, huh?
Yep, NSD.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't know Fabian?
Fabian from NSD. So if Zijia is going to be banned, is also going to be banned from, not going to use them for tournaments. How does it work when it comes with BWF? Because BWF also has their own ruling, has BWF, BAM referred to all those countries, like if they go to a different country, for example, what the period of time they have to spend outside of the country, and then maybe that's any being BWF council members and also
Okay.
verify this.
Right, I think the part BWF you will answer, but let me answer one part of it first. Now, first of all, we have to get terminology correct, Fabian. I think we keep using the word ban, that's not correct. We're not banning anybody, we're not registering them. There's a big, both legal and factual difference between the two. We're not registering them. Why is BAM not registering? Because it is ironical for BAM to register someone who doesn't want to be with BAM. And you're only not registering for 2 years. Okay, as to BWF, Dr. Terkini?
I'm not speaking for BWF. Okay, basically, I think there are rules in terms of BWF, because BWF is the governing body for badminton for the world. And BWF has member association. They call, in BWF, they don't call countries, they call member association. So BN is a member association, badminton of Thailand is member association, okay, and so forth, alright. So for BWF, if any sanctioned event sanctioned by BWF, the registration must come from member association only. So basically, if a Malaysian player or a BN player or any Malaysian player who wants to play in any BWF sanctioned tournament, he has to be registered by BN. That's all. Full stop. Of course, you are asking if a player moves to another country, whether they can play in another country. I think we need to really look into the BWF constitution. But I just try. I may be wrong. I stand to be corrected. But I think if a Malaysian player wants to play in another country, I think they need to get clearance from BM. I think so. But I stand corrected. Okay.
There are regulations.
Yeah, there are regulations, basically. Thank you.
Any further clarifications? Yes.
Datuk Sri, anda boleh soal ini. Datuk Sri, jadi Zijia tidak akan didaftarkan dalam tempoh 2 tahun. Tahun ini cukup penting, ada substansi, sukan asal, sukan Commonwealth. Maknanya tiada Zijia dalam tim event itu ataupun bagaimana?
Okay. Keadaan dia sekarang ialah di mana Zijia dan juga Jinwei tidak akan didaftar selama 2 tahun. Tetapi itu adalah hari ini. Andai kata mereka membuat rayuan, dan mereka masih boleh buat rayuan seperti mana yang telah berlaku pada pemain sebelum ini. So jika rayuan itu dibuat, dan rayuan itu berdasarkan terma-terma yang munasabah sebagai contoh, dan juga mengambil kira kepentingan negara, maka kemungkinan besar mereka dapat main dalam sukan-sukan tersebut. Tapi kalau sebaliknya lah. Jadi kita akan lihat apakah yang akan berlaku. Tapi pada peringkat ini masih ada ruang dan peluang untuk mereka kembali berkhidmat kepada negara.
Sir, you mentioned that Nadi in BM since 13 years old. Could you express your emotional feeling that this has to happen, that he's leaving BM probably not with an appropriate reason?
You know, I mean, I like that question you're asking, because that is actually the feeling of almost all the council members, especially the president. Now, obviously, we feel extremely sad. If you know the story of badminton in this country, in the last few years, it was always Dato' Lee Chong Wei. And there we are trying very hard to build new talent. And here we have a sprouting, budding talent in the name of Lee Zijia and a few others. Now, when you have such a talent which produced, and we want them to be inspiring examples to other players as well. So when this thing happens, of course, there's a lot of things that BAM, as a governing body, has got to do, and the disappointment is there, but we've got to move on. We have to ensure that the existing players are not discouraged by this. We have to ensure that the sponsors are not discouraged by this, because we require the sponsorships. Because, I think we all know this, that BAM is much bigger than any single player. It is in national interest. And therefore, the quest to train world-class leaders must go on beyond this. So this could be a temporary setback on one hand. On the other hand, this could be a very inspiring and encouraging moment for us to realize that there are other people who can step into the shoes of Lizija and the rest. So we cannot just look at the negative side of things. As I say, the water fills its own level. Kan? Jaga?
Satu saya ada soalan lagi.
Ya.
Saya rasa masih lagi ramai yang macam keliru. Jadi dalam tempoh 2 tahun ni, adakah Zija masih attach dengan DN ataupun dia withdraw daripada pasukan kebangsaan, boleh pergi ke mana-mana dan perlu bayar pembahasan ke, ataupun macam mana?
Okey, sebenarnya tak ada kekeliruan langsung. Dia senang. 13 tahun tak? 13 tahun kamu dengan BAM. Datang ke tahun yang ke-13, kamu kata kamu nak withdraw, kamu nak tarik diri daripada pusat latihan negara, National Training Center. Kamu tarik diri. Jadi bila kamu tarik diri, apa yang badan itu boleh buat? Kamu tarik diri tau. Jadi bila kamu tarik diri, tu badan tu kata okeylah, kamu tarik diri, jadi kami tak dapat daftar kamu. Dan kita boleh tentukan tempoh masa, tapi cuma kita ambil tempoh masa yang pernah kami buat selama 2 tahun. Jadi itu bermakna selama 2 tahun untuk hari ini, selama 2 tahun BAM tidak akan daftar Lizija untuk apa-apa permainan yang di mana pendaftaran oleh BAM perlu. Faham ya? Dan itu tertakluk kepada proses rayuan. Jika dia rayu, itu cerita lain lah.
Zija mempunyai tempoh berapa masa untuk rayuan tersebut?
In the next few months, kan? Besok boleh? Tak ada masalah. Okey, dalam aspek itu saya kena akui ya. Dalam aspek itu saya kena akui bahawa BAM ni compassionate sikit. Sebab dia kena balance lah. Dia kena balance di antara keperluan kepribadian pemain dan juga kepentingan negara. Jadi kita kena balance. Kita taklah katakan you kena rayu dalam masa seminggu. Tak. Faham ya?
Cepat mungkin dah.
Yalah, cepat mungkin lah. Ya. Takkan lepas Thomas Cup nak minta kan?
Hi, hello.
Yes.
Vignesh from Bernama. So, is that BAM indirectly forcing Zija to stay with BAM?
Okay. Now, this question of is BAM indirectly forcing? I really don't know how to answer that, other than saying that if my girlfriend leaves me and I tell her that if you stay with me, you'll be happy. I don't know what else to say, lah. I mean, look at it this way, lah. Zija made up his own decision to leave, right? So why do you explain your question? I don't understand. Why do you say it's forcing? In which aspect? Where is he? In which aspect?
Do you have any choice whether to be with BAM and continue to play or sit out for 2 years?
He's got to sit out for 2 years. Tamat muka dia. See, very simple. Zija left BAM. There are consequences to him and there are consequences to BAM. So he left BAM. BAM said, okay, you leave BAM for the next 2 years. We will not register you for tournaments where BAM registration is required. Do you understand? Di mana perlunya BAM mendaftar, BAM tak akan mendaftar lah selama 2 tahun.
So how does the tournament get played totally?
Yeah. I mean, name whatever tournaments you want. It doesn't matter. But the most important thing is you must understand that it is not compulsion. If I can guess your mind, why you're saying compelled? Because you must understand, when any player leaves BAM, what are the consequences to BAM? And when we say the consequences to BAM, you must understand. Number one is consequence to the national interest. I mean, we are nurturing players for the purposes of representing Malaysia. That's number one. Number two, what about the financial consequences? Now, when you have a player leaving, a big player leaving, obviously sponsors will get jittery. When sponsors get jittery, that means funds are less coming in. When less funds are coming in, what is the ability to develop new players? So in that sense, the ramification is manifold. But that's something that we must understand. I'm not blaming Zijia, we're not blaming anybody. We're saying that in life you make a choice, there are consequences. And BAM, as far as governing body is concerned, and still wanting to nurture new players, we will have to move on. That is the message.
Datuk Pingwai from the start. Datuk, has the BM conveyed this decision to Zijia, and how do you react to it?
Okay, Sekjen.
We have actually informed him through replying the letter to his resignation letter, 1. 2, because as you know, Dijah is also from Kedah, so we have also informed Kedah BA. So this is the process that we have to do, we have to take, because we are an institution, right? We are an organization, so we have to, as much as we can, we have to follow the processes, and this is the processes that we have taken now. But to respond whether how does Dijah respond, I think it's difficult for me to respond. I think that I cannot be speaking on behalf of him. But what I can say now is that I think we are also we are an organization. We need to follow certain rules. Whether we like it or not, we have to follow the rules. But at the same time, as what Datuk Seri said, we are also compassionate. We will. There are ways that we can resolve this, and if we can resolve it as soon as possible, that will be good. Yep. Thank you.
Jadi sebenarnya message itu ialah akhir kalam. Akhirnya BAM tidak mahu perkara seperti ini berlaku, kerana ia akan mengganggu sedikit sebanyak kita punya usaha-usaha untuk membangunkan badminton di Malaysia. Tetapi mau tidak mau, bila ini berlaku, kita terpaksa melangkah ke hadapan dan mitigate apa-apa damages yang kita boleh. Okay, so last 2 questions. Yeah.
Very important, interesting reading you mentioned is now the national interest. As saying that you are a very pragmatic person, you demonstrated that leadership. So could you tell us, with India leaving, has it shown BAM gold medal road for the Paris Olympics in 2 years' time into a chaos and jeopardy?
Okay.
That's the honors for it.
You answer? Okay.
Whether it will bring it to chaos.
Yeah, the gold for the
Paris.
gold for the
I don't know.
I think these are all very speculative questions, alright? But what I can say is, I just want to echo or reiterate what Datuk Sri said. Of course, when the top player leaves, it will affect us in terms of our development, in terms of our program, and also in terms of finance. So when every top player that we nurture, we build, and if they leave, it will, of course, sponsor will also start to be jittery, and perhaps even the funding for development will be reduced. So that will cause the collapse of the entire ecosystem. That I can say. Whether Olympic 24 preparation, of course, we will still hope to produce our target and to achieve our target in Project 2024. Yeah, thank you.
Datuk, Mat dari TV3. Tadi Datuk cakap keputusan ini memberi impak pada Zijah, bukan saja Zijah tetapi BAM. Dua-duanya ada kesan tersendiri. Tapi bukankah ia membelakangi kepentingan negara ketika Zijah itu adalah orang kata our best player dan dia akan terdekat dalam tempoh 2 tahun tanpa sebarang kejohanan. BAM nak tanggungjawab atas keputusan.
Okey. Soalan tanya tu soalan yang masalah timbul, jadi terpaksa lah kan. Jadi perkaranya lah, adakah yang memberi kesan? Yang memberi kesan, sudah tentu. Sebab kalau ada, semua okey. Kalau tak ada, tak apa-apa okey. Jadi pokoknya lah, akhirnya kita kena juga buat sesuatu yang to mitigate the damages. Satu. Yang keduanya, sama ada perkara itu membelakangi kepentingan negara. Saya ada jawapan, tapi saya risau nak jawab sebab benda ni mungkin jadi undang-undang. Faham, saya tak nak buat tuduhan sesiapa apa-apa Zijah dan sebagainya lah. Tapi cuma yang saya dapat mengatakan ialah kalau pemain-pemain kita yang kita bina bersama kita, ia akan menguntungkan negara, ia akan memenuhi keperluan kepentingan negara. Faham lah.
Tapi mungkin Zija buat keputusan tu atas kepentingan dia juga dan untuk dia nak contribute pada negara, mungkin pada tahu apa pandangan BM tentang benda
Cukup mudah jawab soalan tu ya. Kalau tadi kita kembali balik kepada apakah itu BAM, apakah yang BAM ada, ekosistem yang dia ada, macam-macam pelbagai kemudahan-kemudahan yang dia ada. Jadi all those facilities are for the purposes of nurturing a great player. You understand? So I mean, to me, I don't see any other alternative outside. So my mind is totally boggled if someone says they're leaving such a system, such an institution, which has got all the facilities somewhere else, and you say that's for national interest. That's physics to me lah. Dia satu yang pertamanya ialah Lizia menarik diri. Dia bukan letak jawatan, dia menarik diri daripada National Training Center. Dah ada National Training Center, dia dah berlatih kat situ, ada coaches, ada segala-galanya. So dia tarik diri. Itu satu. Yang keduanya, soalan ialah adakah dia boleh train kan? Memang kita punya place is open to public, so there's certain process that you got to follow. Takkan kita nak, kalau orang kita bagi kan, takkan somebody will left us, we trade, we won't allow to come back. Of course, there's no issue. Sekejap you must understand, this is all about process, not about punishing anybody. Bunyi macam hukuman, tapi bukan nak hukum siapa, walaupun yang terhukum adalah negara dan BAM. Itu pandangan kami lah. Yes. Yeah.
How do you think that BM is going to handle
All right. Right. You're asking a very relevant question, because at the end of the day, in many aspects of life, it's all about perceptions. Yeah. So there's a perception that when a player, you've brought him up to a certain level, and then you win a certain medal, and then he goes out, then this may leave the perception that other players can do the same. Now we got to seriously ask this question. Those who are interested in badminton and responsible citizens of this country got to ask this question. Do we want to commercialize sports to an extent where national interest takes a back seat to narrow personal commercial interest? But that's where we're heading now. So we have to find that balance between the two. And that, I hope BM is doing the right thing. You know? So to answer the second part of the question is that we have to ensure that the other players are motivated instead of demotivated by what's happening. That's again our challenge as well. You know, we have to shift the entire mindset.
So as such, how do you plan to do that in the future to ensure that these players are BM the ultimate decision?
Okay, there are many angles. It's a good question again. There are many things that we've got to do, and we already, the council already decided to sit down again to look at various measures to prevent such a thing happening or to manage such a thing happening. But one of the things, of course, as a lawyer I'm telling you, is we have to relook at our contract, so that the contract, while taking care of the interests of the players, it also safeguards national interest, because a lot of money is invested in it, a lot of time is invested in it, a lot of aspirations is invested in it as well. No, we're not going to walk down that road. But to now, yeah. But I understand if you look at the press statement earlier, that the council, some members of the council, Dr. Terkini included, had already approached Lizia and had various discussions. It is not fair to Lizia nor to BAM to go into the details of what was negotiated between the two parties, because the end result is he decided still to leave. Okay, any other clarifications?
Aslan from Nadi TV.
Yeah, no.
Macam dulu jika kita tahu Rossi pernah membayar pembahasan untuk bergerak secara profesional, so adakah harga yang boleh dibayar di Zija selepas tindakan yang lakukan? Ada dalam pembahasan yang boleh dibayar di Zija?
No, we are just talking about the ban.
Yeah, we just talking about the ban.
Now, coming back to your question, Bernama, is it? Okay. No, we have not come to that stage yet. Presently, we have replied to his letter. If there is anything further, then the council will look at it.
You mentioned about contract and how the contract, while it looks after the players, also safeguard national interest.
Yep.
Maybe you can mention some of the specifics in the contract. Like I understand that players need to be like before 29 years old, or what are the major tournaments that you need to compete in before.
Alamak, that don't lah. I'm a lawyer. I'm not giving you a legal lecture here lah. Basically, when I say revisit the contract means we're going to look at the contract where there are terms which are fair to the players, at the same time, protects the national interest, protects the sponsors, protects all those investment that's done. That kind of a general principle thing. Don't be naughty. Okay. Yes. Dato' can you answer the question?
Okay. Quite an interesting question. Okay. Ciam sebenarnya dalam kita punya review tahunan, memang kita dah cadang nak menggugurkan Ciam lah, alright. Tetapi Ciam asked that he wants to resign first, alright. So he has done the proper process. Okay, dia melalui proses dan kebetulan dia juga layak pada the World Championship yang baru-baru ni. And dengan itu kita pun memberi dia untuk bermain secara independen lah. Dan mengikut dia pun ada pernah wakil, adalah dia punya sumbangan dia lah, alright, yang kita rasa dah setimpal dengan pelaburan kita. So actually tu kadang-kadang BM ni kita ni we are very kind because these children, these players like our children, So bila dia minta, I resign lah, don't send me lah. I said, we said okay, can, no problem, alright. So we hope you understand this. We are always trying to help the players actually, alright. We do as best as we can to help the players. At the end of the day, we want the best for the players. Alright, thank you.
Soalan seterusnya, betul sih sebab kita tahu trend, bukan trend lah, semakin hari semakin banyak player keluar dari BM. Tapi apa langkah BM yang BM boleh buat untuk elak perkara ini berlaku so that tak jadi sampai tahap ini. Thank you.
Adam, saya pun nak tahu berapa ramai lagi yang you tahu nak keluar daripada BM.
Bukan maksudnya sebelum ni lah, beberapa tahun lepas.
Oh ya ke? Banyak tak ada. Boleh bagi contoh sikit tak?
Okey, contoh start dengan Vision Pyong, Zuli, dan after that Beijing, grup-grup dan adik bukan dikukuhkan yang apa?
Okay, alright. Adam, I think you tahulah kenapa pemain-pemain ni mereka dah menyumbang pada negara. Macam Peng Sun, dia dah menang pingat perak untuk Malaysia kan di kejohanan Olimpik. Dan pemain-pemain ni pun dah sampai peringkat umur yang boleh dikatakan mereka towards the end of their career lah, right? So they want to play outside and they have contributed quite a lot. So these players, we have actually let them go, alright? I believe masa tu dia orang keluar, saya belum kat BM, but I believe BM did it in good faith lah for these players, alright? For them to go out and play independently, alright? At the end of the day, they have contributed enough, alright? Thank you.
But for example, like Go Jinwei, he left AM for defense to help defense, right? For a few months after she got KLRC and then training for Olympics, what do you think about that?
I think we have mentioned it in the. Earlier we have mentioned it. Yeah. Thank you.
Dato' Kenny, if I could just try to get you to divulge a little bit from when Zija came and tendered his resignation. So you mentioned, or rather Dato' Sri Jabadi mentioned, there were two reasons that he gave. One was pressure, and then the other one was regimented lifestyle. If you could you explain what he mean by that, because the conversation had taken place between the both of you, and from what Zija had announced to the world pretty much, he seemed to have his own target as well, that he wanted to break into the top 5. So was there some other pressure that you think BM might have imposed on him, or that you felt otherwise that, led to him resigning or withdrawing rather?
Alright, now before I pass to Dr. Kenny to answer, being the lawyer that I am, I want to clarify something first. Now those two reasons that I mentioned earlier that Lee just said, those things were said orally.
Orally.
In his letter was something else altogether. Okay, so let's get that part clear. This is a good thing you asked. The rest I leave it to Dr. Kenny.
But actually, I don't quite understand his question. Actually, he's trying to ask whether how do I feel when he mentioned those points? Is it?
Yeah. What was the points behind those reasons?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So because now this is just the two reasons given to us, but of course that is just a line. You see, what was the reason behind that 2 points specifically? That if we could understand.
I mean, if I was to choose to answer that question of yours, I would say that you're asking me to speculate as to what his mind was thinking.
Yeah.
Which is going to be very difficult. Which is going to be very difficult for me to do unless you specify your questions more specifically, that I can address it equally specifically.
I'm not asking you to speculate on behalf. He mentioned 2 things.
2 reasons.
Right? But was it just that full stop? I'm pressured.
Yeah, I'm just saying that in his letter of resignation, he did not mention any reasons other than the fact that we are very happy, thank you very much. Yeah. This kind of nice. Then orally, when we approached him, talked to him to say, look, rethink lah, you've been with us for a long time, but you got a great future, blah blah blah. So he said, no, 2 things. This as I was informed. Number 1 is academy too regimental the lifestyle. Too regimental, cannot. Second one is I'm under pressure. So these are the 2 reasons given orally. You understand? So that's the best.
That was it.
That was it. I mean, anything else we don't.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Orang lain tak ada ke?
I'm quite sure when Lydia tendered his letter, I'm quite sure BAM must have also sat down with him and spoken to him about all these legal things that's going to take place. Did he at any point mention that, okay, I'm still sticking by my decision and probably going to take BAM?
Actually, no lah. They didn't call me there, so they did not speak anything legal. They were all talking about, when I was briefed, the feeling I had was they were sitting down talking to father and son. Hey, why lah? You go, stay lah. It's good for your future. What those kind of things. Most people, I wasn't there, so there's nothing legal discussed.
Like that.
No, there was nothing legal discussed. Nothing.
That's what.
So it was all like, why you want to go? What do you want? What can I do for you? Don't worry.
Friendly chat.
It's a very friendly chat. That kind of things. There was no legal, nothing. Maybe that's why the delivery didn't bring me along. That's a joke. Yes.
Yeah.
You were talking about, we have been talking about the potential loss of sponsorships and things like that. What if, is there any chance if India could come up with maybe 5 million, 10 million of compensation? Would we have let you go?
I don't think we want to even think about that. Because that's never in our head. All we're concerned about is we want to be fair to those who have trusted BAM. We want to be fair to the existing players that we need to nurture and build. We also want to be fair to the sponsors to assuage their fears that we're still on track. Don't worry,
So no money can justify.
No, I don't think we want to even go along those lines. I think cukup kan? Any last? All right. If there are no further, can I say there are no further clarifications? Okay, none. I want to thank all of you for making time. Thank you very much, and have a good weekend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.